What's up, guys? Rosika here again. Today we are on chapter 4 of our journey through Proverbs as we chase after wisdom and seek to kick the stupid stuff out of our lives. Alright, so let's dig in and see what pearls of wisdom we can get out of chapter 4 here. So there are three big things that stood out to me in this chapter. Once again, every verse filled with pearls of wisdom, but I'll stick to three things to keep this short and sweet. First thing that stood out to me are the first 5 verses where Solomon says, "Listen, my sons, to a father's instruction. Pay attention and gain understanding. I give you sound learning, so do not forsake my teaching, for I too was a son to my father, still tender and cherished by my mother. Then he taught me and said to me, take hold of my words with all your heart, keep my commands, and you will live." It hit me pretty hard because as I read through it, it reminded me of the fact that I didn't have a father as I grew up. I had my mother, like I mentioned a few days ago, and she did the best that she could, but to have a man around to show me how to be a man was something that I didn't experience. So to think on one day I myself will be a father and I'll have the opportunity to pass down my learnings, my knowledge, my wisdom down to my son is something that's really important to me. And as I read this chapter and previous chapters, one thing that I noticed is that wisdom is something that is instructed. It's not something that you pick up willy-nilly, but there is instruction. There is a passing of generational wisdom from one generation to another, from a father to a son, that takes place, that I would like to start a tradition of when I have my kids. The second thing that stood out to me is this continuing idea of sacrificing, selling everything that you have in the pursuit of wisdom. So in verse 7, it says, "The beginning of wisdom is this, get wisdom, though it costs all you have, get understanding." And we saw this in chapter 1 as well, where it said to seek after wisdom as if it were silver. But the precious worth that is put on wisdom and understanding, the value you can see in verse after verse, chapter after chapter, is higher than anything. And then the last thing here that really stood out to me is in verse 18, where it says, "The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. But the way of the wicked is like deep darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble." And this actually hit me pretty hard as well. It almost brought me to tears just looking at, number one, the juxtaposition of light and darkness. So Solomon says the path of the righteous is like the sun. You know, your path is lit. You have this beauty all around you, and the path of darkness, or the path of the wicked, is filled with darkness. And at the end of verse 19, it says, "The wicked do not know what makes them stumble." And that just actually made me sad, because when you think about people that live without the knowledge of the Lord, they live their lives based on their own knowledge, their own worldly wisdom, and that is not something that is consistent. It changes from day to day. We know that our God is consistent. He is unchanging. He is faithful. And living with worldly wisdom doesn't provide that same security. You do not have that same hope and joy that you can find in the faithfulness and consistency of the Lord. So those are the things that stood out to me. Hopefully you are continuing on your journey and learning and gaining wisdom as we kick the stupid stuff out of our lives. See you guys tomorrow.